I have a little bit of a demonstration we're going to be doing. I'm just trying to get things, as always, which has been the theme for the last few videos, is I'm just trying to get everything ready for making hay this season. Now, I don't really have to do much to the baler over here. All I have to do is run the power line from the cab to the motor. I already have the controller up in the cab, so that's not the point what I'm going to be talking about. This is what I need to talk about, the tank. How are we going to fill it up? And I already showed you, all you got to do is pull this banjo end off, open it up, turn it on, and off now, on then, and fill this up, 55 gallons. The question is, how long is it really going to take to do it, and how am I going to do it? Well, originally, I was going to go with a different way to supply, this is just 12 volt, power to that pump. And I guess I'll show you, because I pulled off a bunch of unnecessary, well, probably necessary depending on who you are and what your opinions are, but see the problem? We clean stuff up and I can't find things. I literally just set it down, so it's probably halfway to Never Never Land. There's a possibility it's sitting on the back of the tractor. Hey buddy. He's just content sitting in the tractor, no air conditioning, no nothing. Whatever. So, originally, I had one of the plugs off of the 7-pin for the 3-point sprayer I was working on the other day, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can just simply enough, not go to great lengths, to fill this hay preservative tank up, because when I'm back in the building, it's really not that big a deal if you have to shuffle some things around, and it's not the end of the world. When you're out in the field and you're away from the buildings, you're away from tools, you're away from whatever else that you may have used to supply power to that pump, ideally you get the power from the machine that you're going to be using to run it. So, seems how the 76 is going to be on the baler. I would rather have it set up so I could run it power from the tractor. That was my plan. I can get power, keyed power right from here. But the problem is the plug that I had, which I think was just corroded up, and it was the reason I took it off is the whole wiring harness for the flashers on that thing was just rotten. It was completely corroded, running power on one end, and it was not getting to the other end, no matter what wire we tried. I just pulled it out. It wasn't worth the hassle. If I need to go through and put another, because it's just your standard white kit you can get from the local dealer, and go that route. I was going to try to repurpose that end, but I think she's shot. So I did make sure that the pump would work by attaching it to the ground and the power supply. Granted, the key's got to be on for that, but I have such an assortment of controllers and monitors and screens in the cab. I'm getting really good at running power to everything. Now I have two sources of power coming from the battery. I have the heavy gauged wire, because the plug in the cab that was really originally meant for supplying keyed 12 volt power to monitors and stuff like that, for the John Deere balers, are really picky when it comes to the net wrap actuators. They have to have their 13.4 to like 12.9 volts. Otherwise, your net wrap actuator doesn't want to work, and you put a whole roll of net wrap onto a round bale, and it costs you a bit of money. Don't ask me how I know. So we had to go through and put that on. This has been on for a few years. This is the power for the rate controller for the Harvest Tech preservative applicator. So I got that run into the cab. I had literally where I mounted it. I'll show you the guys the cab on a later date here. But I had just enough wire to run this to where I need it. I have it mounted right where it's probably an inconvenience if it's left in there 365 days out of the year. But it's kind of an odd place to mount anything, but for the fact that I have to turn it on and off up to 100 to 300 times in a day, I think it's exactly where it needs to be. So back to getting that filled up. This failed. I don't have another one. I don't want to go to town and get a new plug. So as I was working, I remembered that I had 12 volt for the wireless cameras that I have on the back of the round baler, because I have a rear view camera on the back of the baler so I can see the traffic behind me, I can see the bales behind me. Couldn't care less about the traffic, but I definitely care to see if the bales have net wrap on them behind them. So that's how we went that route. And actually, to fix that, I wired, gonna be doing a bit of talking, folks. I wired the 12, yeah, right here, the power for that camera, because they need to be supplied regular power. Where'd you go? Wherever the end is. Oh, right here. I ran the power right into the plug. So when this is plugged in, the tractor's on, the baler's running, I can see out the rear view, the rear of the baler. That's pretty much what I wanted to do with that pump, so I could just unplug that and then plug this in and go. But originally I had power going from the wiring harness for the rear view camera to that camera, and I wanted to eliminate it because it's, you know, one last step. So I had these two lines that are already set up for power, already available. And I have 10 feet of wire that came with this pump. I'm thinking it should be enough for what I need it to do, because it's on the right side of the tractor. The fill line on the tank is on the right side of the baler. So if I just pull up alongside the truck or the trailer, whatever else, I think I'll have plenty of wire, because I think I'm gonna have plenty of wire, because this is gonna be approximately in the middle of the truck or the middle of the trailer. And yeah, you're right, you're gonna see a little bit of a demo here. Otherwise, I would actually hook on a little bit or add a little bit more wire to it, but I can do that at a later date. So now it's the same thing. It's wired into the same plug that is keyed on the inside of the tractor. So what I need to do, I can turn the switch on. I don't need to be running the tractor. And then it already has an on-off switch on it. And I just wanted to see what kind of job it does when it's running. So we're gonna go over here. Say we just ran out 150 bales. We're gonna go up in the tractor, make sure the key is on, trip over the dog. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna connect our two lines here, which are always hanging out the back of the tractor anyway. I didn't eliminate them. The preservative pump is already in the tank. That's where it's gonna go as soon as I go get the tank, so it's ready. We're gonna have this hooked up to the baler. I'm gonna go over here and turn it on. And not, oh, there's the water. I wanna say this is like a 10-gallon a minute pump. So I probably have too much of the line here, but I can actually, it doesn't gonna take long to actually cut out a bunch of the wire. Not a whole lot of pressure there, but if you had a unsuspecting person around, like say Ryan or maybe my wife, that would be kind of mean, devilish. And that wasn't filled all the way to the top, so let's say we're about 4 gallons. I don't know, if it takes 10 minutes to fill that 50-gallon tank, it's not the end of the world, as long as it works. And it's going to clean it out right down. Wow, completely out. Impressive. So once we get the tank full, we're going to go over here and shut it off, disconnect everything, go through and wrap the hose up nice and pretty like, take the wiring, unhook that, wrap that up all pretty like, and go about the rest of my day. And that'll be that. I did find There's different styles of doing this. There's different pumps. The tank actually has a banjo valve on the bottom of the tank, and there are pumps that are set up specifically for filling out of those fittings, and we're talking like a couple $100, few $100. I did all this for $55. That included shipping, plus like $30 for the hose and the fittings. Can't argue with that. And if it breaks and it blows up, another $55, and I'll buy another one. Even if I have to replace it every other year, I can go quite a while replacing a pump for $55 as opposed to buying a $400 to $500 pump that may last about the same amount of time. It's less money invested right up front, especially when we're in the times that we're in and grain markets are doing what they're doing. Hay, I think hay's actually holding in there. I really do. It was up a little bit last week, but I think that was the last hoorah before. Shut that off. Pet the dog. I think that was the really last big push in the hay market until probably later this summer, unless people are going to stock up mid to late summer. I have a price in my head that I'm looking to get for the hay that I have to sell, and I think it is really within reach. It's not super high, it's not super crazy, and I'm kind of bummed that I couldn't go down and make my hay right now, but I'm thinking we're shut down for about another week because it's cold out. I actually I had a sweatshirt around here. I've been wearing a sweatshirt because it was only mid 50s when I got up this morning, and that cold weather, even with the blue sky and sunny, that little bit of breeze we're getting, it doesn't really do much to dry the ground out or dry anything out. So I'm not about to drop 100 acres of hay on muddy soil and then try to do anything with it. That's just asking for nightmares. So I'm really looking forward to making hay, getting something cut. Once we do, I think we'll probably knock down a lot of it and really move it. But one more thing, another thing, not just one more, there's plenty of things to be working on, that we have to go through and do is take the skid steers through all of our hay sheds and scrape them up. All that residue, leftover hay from falling off the bales or bales that are missing some of the net wrap, largely corn fodder, and make sure that we're down to concrete so everything stacks in nice and then you're not having a bunch of old slabs of crummy hay and get in with your new material. So with that, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. Algorithm comments, I guess that's what everybody's calling them now, or at least that's what I'm hearing a lot, but oh well, it is what it is. I'll talk to you guys later.